I've spent over 25,000 ringgit, which is over 5,000 USD, to equip my whole YouTube studio, from magnetic track lights, spotlights, roof light to smart switches with a built-in display and more. So was it all worth it? Well, you tell me after I show you our entire studio tour here on Adam Lobo TV's YouTube studio. Now, just for context, that this is a brand new studio that we've just moved in close to 2 months ago. So it's not aesthetically pleasing as it should be, as the whole studio is still a work in progress. So why Yeelight Pro? Well, that answer is very simple. First of all is reliability. Because as shown in my smart home tour video, I've also equipped my whole home only with Yeelight lightings. And not even once I had any issues with that compared to some of the other minor annoyances that I get from brands like Aqara and even Miros as well. Then other than reliability, it's also compatible with other smart home ecosystems. So other than Apple's HomeKit, which is what I'm using not only at home but here in the studio as well, Yeelight Pro is also part of the Matter ecosystem, Google Home, Amazon Alexa, Samsung SmartThings, and also is a certified partner with Sonos too. Next is variety, because compared to other smart home lighting options, Yeelight Pro series is unique to the point that you would never guess that those are smart lights. Finally, there's also the price. While 25,000 ringgit or 5,000 USD is definitely a lot, keep in mind that the whole studio consists of an entrance walkway area, the office, a living room or a B-roll setup. Then there's also even another floor above for my A-roll and a potential work-in-progress podcast or live stream setup as well, totaling a space over 3,000 square feet. And yes, overall, when it comes to the price, it's also way more affordable than brands such as Lifex and of course Philips Hue as well. Okay, let's first start with the entrance. The first cool thing that I've got over here is this, the Yeelight Pro S21 Smart Scene panel. Now, besides the super cool screen that not only tells the time and the temperature of the area, both indoor and outdoor depending on your location, but it also has the date and the weather forecast as well. Then swiping left on the panel allows you to control each of the power sources connected to the switch. And once the panel is idle, it will go into the clock mode as the standby screen, which also looks really cool. Then swiping again goes to the menu of a total of 8 scenes, which I have configured to scenes such as turning off everything when anyone is the last person to leave the studio. Then there's also other presets that have been set up specifically for turning on all the lights in the studio, switching the color temperature of the light from daylight white, color lighting. There's also a scene for a night warm white color temperature, the shooting scenes for both the A-roll and the B-roll living studios, and more on that later. Then there's also scenes for turning on the living room and the office area as well for work. And of course, all of these scenes can be configured however you like in the Yeelight Pro app. Then looking on top, there is the Yeelight Pro P20 surface mounted magnetic track, and this has 2 Yeelight Pro P20 surface mounted magnetic track spotlights. One is shining directly to our company logo and the other is pointed right to the entrance, and the UV camera is faced towards there for us to know who exactly is entering the studio at all times. Now, what's lovely is that this Yeelight Pro P20 surface mounted magnetic track spotlights attached over here can be positioned however you like and moved manually as well, as it's not only connected magnetically but also wirelessly connected as well. Now, other than that, I also love how it has a 0.01 dimming precision, where compared to other smart lightings where the steps of the dimming either go up too much or go down too much. And this precise dimming is applicable for all of the Yeelight Pro lighting systems that I'll mention throughout this video. Then on top of this marble console, there is the Yeelight Pro S20 Bluetooth Mesh Gateway, which brings all the Yeelight Pro lights together and works directly with the smart home ecosystem as mentioned earlier, and is placed here to be more of a central position. And what's great is that you can connect it via Ethernet and also wirelessly as well. Now, speaking of connectivity through the LAN control, you can even have this smart control because of this hub even without the internet, which was very sweet. Then attached magnetically is the Yeelight Pro S21 motion sensor, and I've set up an automation that every time that there's a motion at the entrance, only the lights over here will turn on, and after 2 minutes of no motion, it will turn off. Now, moving forward here on top, actually all the lights are on top. But here's the new Yeelight Pro M20 surface mounted downlight, and I love how it has a nice white color finish around the lights, which blends in very well with our concrete ceiling. And as shown earlier, you can switch the color temperature according to the scene created, and on top of that, I also love how you can dial to the exact Kelvin value of the color temperature in numbers in the app, which makes it easier for me to match together with all of the videos combined with the studio lights as well in the living room, and more on that later. Then coming over to the office studio, first there is this, the Yeelight Pro M20 Smart Switch. Now this is the 2-gang variant, as this controls the power source of the lights, and you can toggle it on and off also on the Yeelight Pro app, and of course on HomeKit as well. Then over here there's the Yeelight Pro E20 Surface Inner Mounted Magnetic Track Lights, and this has a similar magnetic wireless capabilities to the ones at the entrance. And currently there's nothing being set up below over here, so we are looking to have an area over here where the boys can mark up. Then between this area over here, there are two similar Yeelight Pro M20 surface mounted downlight. Then over at this whole area on top, once again, of course, all the lights are on top, so we'll show you a B-roll. There's another Yeelight Pro E20 surface mounted magnetic track, and this time around is the longer variant going across the table. Then other than the Yeelight Pro E20 magnetic track spotlights, it also includes this cool Yeelight Pro E20 surface mounted magnetic floodlights, where it illuminates the whole office area, especially at night. And there's also one of the spotlights illuminating my desk over at this area, and also on the other side too. Alright, now let's go into the living area, or the B-roll setup area. Now as you enter this area, there's a physical wireless scene switch, which is the Yeelight Pro E20 scene switch. Since it's magnetic, either the boys can just leave it over here or just bring it around so that they don't have to come all the way here or use their phone to turn on and turn off the lights. Yep, first world problem. But thank you very much Yeelight Pro for being very thoughtful with this. Now for now, this is set to control the overall lighting over at this area, where there are a total of 6 scenes that can be configured accordingly, which also includes controlling the smart switches that we have all the way over there, where there are a total of 3 units of the 2-gang Yeelight Pro M20 Smart Switch that controls the mains not only for the Yeelight Pro lightings, but also all of the Amaran Studio lightings that we have over here too. And of course, this is also divided into different sections available that is connected on the plugs at the ceiling beam area. So over here, as you can see, that the ceilings are black, and this is for our video production purposes, because white ceilings does not look great when it comes to their reflections, especially when it comes to reviewing smartphones, laptops, or even tablets. Now since this area is a smaller area, so we don't really need a lot of light over here. So there's another Yeelight Pro M20 surface mounted downlight. Then at the larger area of the living room above is also another similar magnetic lighting setup, which includes 3 spotlights, and then there is the very unique Yeelight Pro P20 surface mounted magnetic grill lights on each side of the area. And this gives a nice bounce towards the wall, so it lights up this area also very well, and you can also configure to the exact color temperature to match with all of the Amaran Studio lights that we have in the studio. So together with these Amaran lights, which is currently turned off, you can have a nice high key lighting setup, or you can always change it to a low key by just having these lights and change the color temperature accordingly. So yes, I would say that this area is not only essential when it comes to video production, but also an area where we can just chill when the sofa arrives, of course. Now speaking of relaxing, I've also created a specific scene for this area and other areas as well, where there is a visitor, a working scene, a discussion scene, and of course the relaxation scene. Then finally, since Yeelight Pro works hand in hand with Sonos, I have the Sonos Era 100 over here to give the easy integration between Sonos and Yeelight Pro, where for example, you can create automation to when you turn on the lights, there is a music being played on the Sonos Era 100. Or when you're leaving, you can set it to stop or even pause the music, where you can see the Sonos devices shown in the Yeelight Pro app as well. Okay, then let's go upstairs. But before that, looking all the way on top, which I cannot reach that daily. I need to have a very long ladder to go all the way up there. There's the regular non-pro Yeelight ceiling spotlight, and inside that there's also the non-pro 3GU10 bulbs. So it's lovely to know that even the non-pro version of the lights and also the switches can be integrated with the whole entire smart home ecosystem together, not only with Yeelight but also HomeKit and the other smart home ecosystems that you have. Alright, welcome to the upper floor, and first there is this, the Yeelight Pro M20 Smart Switch. And yes, welcome to the unfinished area of what's supposed to be the live stream area or the podcast setup. And speaking of areas which is unfinished, this unboxing area is still a work in progress. But what is not a work in progress is for you to help us by hitting the like and the subscription button. That would be very much appreciated if you guys are enjoying this video, and of course, very enlightening too. Now, before we talk about the number one product most asked by people who comes to the studio, which is over there, let's talk about this Yeelight Pro D-Series recessed downlight and spotlight. And I choose this particular lights because it gives that one direction, not group, but yeah, since it has a one-directional light. Since I'm giving this area more of a low-key setup as opposed to the bright one which is available on the other Aero set. And now we can finally talk about this, the Yeelight Pro P21 Skylight, and I love how it gives that skylight look, where as mentioned earlier, where people who always came to the studio always look at it and goes like, huh, is that a light? Or is that real light coming from the sky? So besides being able to adjust the color temperature and set scenes as mentioned downstairs, you can adjust schedules. For example, between 7 AM and 8 AM, it will set to a cooler light. And it can even set to a different color towards the afternoon and a warmer color temperature towards the evening or night. And it also supports multi-joint installation systems. So if you want to have more than one, you can have a really nice, clean and a cool looking setup. And the light emitted over here is not your typical LED light, as it uses the nanotechnology enabled Rayleigh scattering, which disperses blue light by air particles to give you a real life tint of the sky, hence why people think that it is indeed light coming from the sky. Cool, right? Now, this particular light can only be installed via a plasterboard, so keep that in mind. And for more information on all the installation setup, especially for this, because I did not install any one of them myself, I will hook you guys up with Copper Connect, which I'll talk about more later in this video. Then finally, towards the typical Aero area that you would see behind the scenes is separated by this cool blackout blinds, and hopefully I can replace all of this with curtains, where I can use the Yeelight Pro S21 curtain in the future. So Yeelight, if you're watching, hook a brother up, will ya? So this is the behind the scenes look of what you typically see during our front facing Aero setup that you usually see in our videos. Now, not only it has a similar magnetic track lights on top, which is the Yeelight Pro E20 surface mounted magnetic track lights, which also has the spotlights and the floodlights which you saw throughout the studio. But also my favorite is this on top of the ceiling. Now, while this is not visible during our Aero shots directly, but it does give a proper illumination for the high key light setup that we have, together with the Amaran video lights setup all over the studio as well. So yeah, like the living room setup, it also gives me the versatility of having different color temperature changes, and of course, and giving a different overall setup for the looks during my Aero set, whether or not it's the high key or even the low key as seen earlier. Then on my desk over here where I do my Aero, there's also this, the Yeelight Pro M20 table switch button, and here's where I can just turn this on and off, where I can just press it over here, and I can turn it on and also adjust the brightness throughout the whole entire studio overall at this Aero shooting area, which is super easy and convenient as well. Now, if you're lost with everything mentioned in this video, don't worry, because there will be a written version of this whole entire video at our website at www.adamlobo.tv. Links to that will be down below. Alright, so that concludes the overall Yeelight Pro Studio setup, and was it worth it? Absolutely for me, and I am sure you will agree too. Now, if you want to learn more on how I configure this whole entire setup, let me know in the comment section below, or if you are too lazy to go through each setup one by one. If you are here in Malaysia, Copper Connect is an easy way to get everything set up for you, as they were the ones to help me with everything here in the studio too, from the setup to the configuration, since I was really busy with moving in and also making videos for you. Now, they have a total smart automation solution that works not only with Yeelight Pro products, but also with other brands like Aqara smart door locks, smart CCTV cameras, smart curtains, smart robot vacuums, and many other compatible devices. They have an easy 5-step process to get everything up and running, where you can also get a free smart automation solution consultation sessions with the Copper Connect team via the link down below. And for those of you who are watching, you can get a special 5% discount on your total smart home makeover by mentioning the code LOBOSMART, either through walking to their shop or via WhatsApp as well, and all of those info will be down below as well. Now, if you have anything to ask or any ideas that you have, let me know in the comment section below, and check out my ultimate smart home setup after using it for a year over here.